Hey guys, welcome to Toribash Tips episode 40 with me, Jack Morris from Man on Fire Films. This week, we're doing something very different. Now, we're not looking at a move. I'll say that first of all, we're not looking at a move. Because a couple of you have been asking, and by a couple, I mean a lot, how do you make a replay? How do you progress after the moves I teach you? How do you customize? What is the mental process people go through when they make replays? Now, I am not the best person in the world to answer that question. I'll openly admit that. But I've made a couple of replays in my time, and some of them are okay. Some of them are average. Some of them are even maybe a little bit above average. Nowhere near the spectacular replays we get in Toribash Replay Showcase, but I still have a rough understanding of the game, and I feel like I'm probably more qualified to talk about this than some of the pros because I have a very beginner outlook on this. I can advise people on how to start rather than how to get a lot better when they have no idea how to start. So I'm going to try something today. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, that means I think it worked and I uploaded it, but there's a chance, even if this is uploaded, that this didn't work at all, and you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments. There's also the chance that I'm recording this and it'll be shit and I won't upload it, but if you're listening, I don't even know why I'm saying that, because if you're hearing this, then obviously I didn't. Paradoxes, okay, we're done. So I'm going to just try and create a replay on this show. I'm going to try and create a basic, very basic replay with a couple of dismembers, maybe even a decap, and just explain my thought process and how I'm doing this. Now, I'm sure that there are people out there, pros, exceptional replay makers, who plan their replays from the start. They think it through, they know exactly what they're going to do, and they just do it from the start, you know, trial and error-wise, but they do have a rough idea. Now, I'm not a pro. I'm nowhere near a pro. I don't really plan my replays out when I make them. I'm usually just dicking around in single player, and I'm just like, that's cool, I want to run with that. And that's really what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to dick around for a bit, try and make a replay, and then talk about where to go from there. Because that's a great place to start. I found that just dicking around, messing around in single player, and then you're like, oh, I just did something cool. That's the best way to start. And then you can increase your understanding of the name of the game and the joints and what they do, etc. And that's what I'd say would be step one. If you really want to get good at this, learn the joints. Learn exactly what they do, how they react, contracting and extending, learn the difference. That's all you really need. Once you know how the joints move, you can sort of work out how to make the Tori do what you want. Now, there are some exceptions to that. For example, running. I mean, understanding how the Tori works is not going to help you run because the game's not great at gravity in that regard. But yeah, it can be done, and it certainly helps a lot. And hell, even watching this show, I talk quite fast when I come to the joints, and knowing what they are would really help. All right, so anyway, let's jump into this. So I'm going to jump into free play now, and I mean, there are a lot of replay makers out there who would fuck about with the engaged distance, and I'm going to do the same, but not to the same degree. So I like to go to 200, so let's go 250, just for the sake of good measure. Keep gravity default, and just start from here. Now, you can do replays from any engaged distance, and yeah, we've seen some from 1,000 miles away. We've seen some where they start off literally kissing. It's up to you, but I'd recommend 200. 200's a good place to start, especially if you don't really know what you're doing, because at least then you have the option of just simply flipping into the character, which is kind of what I'm going to be trying to do today. So I'm going to start by holding all. Again, replays usually look better if you don't hold all, if you relax everything. But for the sake of basic replay making 101, I'm going to hold all and try to flip. I'm going to try and do a flip kick. Now, I kind of know how to do a flip kick in this game. It's a very simple move, but I'm going to try and create it off the top of my head without using the techniques that I know. So let's go for the really simple backflip here, which is to just contract pretty much all things to do with your legs, or I guess extend your ankles. Extend ankles, contract knees, and contract hips, which will lead you into a basic backflip. I'm also here going to contract my pecs ready to land on, and let's go for this. So, okay, we're getting into the flip. Now I'm going to get ready to contract my hips here, although maybe I haven't flipped enough. It's hard to say. There we go. Now, moving my legs here is going to give me enough momentum to flip me back around onto my hands, and let's just okay, let's raise shoulders and extend hips. This is going to try, what I'm trying to do here is line my legs up to decap Jeff. Now, this is probably not going to work first try, but that's kind of the point of this. I'm going to try and do it and experiment a little bit. So clearly I've gone too far there. Now let's take a look at this. Now, when it comes to replay making, the buttons you want to know is P will pause your replay wherever you are. Shift P will cycle it frame by frame. There isn't an option to go back a frame yet. I really wish there was. That would make it a lot easier, but there isn't. And R will reset your replay. And I've talked about this a lot in Toribash Tips, but I figured I'll rehash it here. So let's start at 360 and see what was going on here. Now, if I extend my legs here, if we press B to view Jeff's ghost, as you can see, it's not really going to hit his head, and abs are a great thing to line up kicks, I find, but it's still not going to be lined up perfectly, unfortunately. So, let's try and figure this out, how to get the legs lined up. Now, you can obviously shift space, which is a little bit more advanced, but not criminally so. I really feel like this kick needs to be tweaked a little bit earlier on. So let's take a look at it from 430. This is all replay making really is. This is all amateur replay making really is. It's trial and error. You make up a lot of it as you go along. Oops, I just did something there that I didn't mean to do. All right, so let's try raising my arms a little bit sooner than I did earlier, or maybe a bit later. Maybe that'll help. How's this going to look in the ghost? Actually, this could work really well. So now I'm raising my arms and bringing my legs around by contracting the hips a little bit sooner than I did before. And maybe if this could work really well. Okay, I might actually have this here. And nope, that didn't work at all. But we have something. And this is how it works. You do something by accident, kind of like this, and then you figure out how to make it even better. So let's try and get it here we'll do 370. So this clearly, as we know, hits Jeff's head here. But now I need to figure out how to give it enough power to get the decap. So I'm gonna play with it. The abs seem to screw it up. Let's extend our ankles here. We might be able to. No. Interesting. All right. Again, like I said earlier on in the episode, knowing your joints is the most important part of all of this. Maybe if I shift and then did I extend? Yeah, I extended my legs here. I often find contracting your glutes, which brings your legs together, kind of temporarily. I mean, if you're going for symmetry here, this isn't a good idea, but for the sake of this replay, I'm trying to figure out which way. Contracting will put your legs together, and this might get, yes, there we go, we have the decap. Now again, that was totally made up on the spot. We'll take a quick look at that, and nowhere near the most stylish replay, but it's a nice little decap, a great place to start. And now I'm going to talk about customization. So let's save this replay. I already did a test run of this show, so let's save it as Toribash test 1 and save. Now we can edit this as much as we like, and we're not going to screw up the initial replay. We'll always have the original file to use. All right, so let's pause it the second I hit Jeff's head. So there we go. Okay, the decap's been had. Let's edit it and let's straighten out our legs by extending our glutes so that the legs straighten out. We'll shift space this to try and get it perfect. That's close enough. Hold our legs, and now we're back to kind of being symmetrical, which isn't essential, but it's a great place to, if you're not very good at replay making, I'd recommend trying to stay as symmetrical as possible. All right, I'm going to try and flip back around here, which I need to, I guess, yeah, this is going to work. It's going to be kind of sloppy, but it'll work. I'm going to use my momentum to flip myself back around. Maybe, no, it doesn't appear. Oh, yeah, okay. This didn't quite work as planned. You know what, let's try and go for a follow-up grab or something. So, P, there, we have the decap. Now, if I contract my knees here, there we are, I'll flip around a little bit more rapidly than before. Now what I've done there is I've forgotten to do anything with my glutes, which has kind of killed all my momentum. So, okay, E as always, and let's, extend glutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and X on them to hold them steady. Now if I contract my knees here, I should, It's interesting when you make replays to really discover that just a couple of frames can make all the difference. As you saw earlier, me contracting my knees within 4 frames flipped me around, whereas now it's just leaving me hanging. Now, I'm really not sure what I can do with this replay. Again, I am by no means... Oh, fuck, I did that by accident. Let's get back into the replay. That was a good thing I saved it, or that would have been a problem. That would have been a serious problem. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with saving a couple of versions of your replay, trying to get good at it. You know what, let's line this up. I'm sure you can hear the rain being picked up. It's coming down quite heavy. Let's edit it from here. Now, I'm going to go for something a little bit interesting here. I'm going to extend my knees and try to flip around onto Jeff's body. It's going to be slow, but it should, in theory... There we go. Okay, so here I'm going to contract my glutes so I can get my legs ready for a flip. I'm going to try and grab Jeff and fling him up into the air. Now, this is going to be kind of difficult to do, but I'm going to try it. Now, here, if I extend my hips, I'm going to go into, once again, a kind of basic flip. Now, let's try and grab Jeff's lower body here. Now what I'm going to do to make sure that I grab each leg individually is extend my pecs for 2 frames, maybe 3. Yeah, we'll go for 3 and then hold them. That's going to hopefully, or maybe only extend the right pec just to make sure that I grab each knee individually like so. And now let's try and throw Jeff up into the air by lowering my shoulders to sort of bring my legs underneath. Now I'm shift spacing here because this needs to be timed pretty right. And I'm probably going to kick him a little bit. And now if I extend my hips, I should, in theory, lift Jeff. I'm also going to raise my shoulders. And there we go. Very basic lift. Not the most stylish thing, but it should give you guys a rough idea of just how understanding joints can lead to something that looks kind of cool. Now I'm going to try and flip into him with my knees here and at least get one more dismember. I'm going to once again go for another kick. And no, I'm just going to hug him to death. Let's see how that looks and talk about customizing that. So yeah, again, this is a bog standard, very simple replay. We see a lot better on Replay Showcase, and I've created a lot better myself. But hopefully this will touch on the absolute 101 basics of creating a replay. Now, I have not edited this or customized this in a very stylish way, and that's mainly because the opening move I used was very bad. I also didn't give myself many frames. I gave myself 500, whereas I probably should give myself something near 1,000 or 1,500 or something to that effect. But I think I will do this again, because this seems to have gone pretty well. I will come back and touch on the ins and outs of creating better replays, and also maybe I'll talk a little bit more about the time commitment. So I hope this has been helpful to the absolute beginners who are fans of this show. I'm sure this has been very boring and frustrating for the pros who know a lot more about replay making than I do, but I feel like this is a great place to start. And if you'd like to know any more, if you'd like any actual in-depth tips, please email contact@manonfirefilms and we'll try and offer you some help. But yes, I really hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I'll be back at some point in the future. Maybe I'll do it next week if you guys really want me to, and I'll touch on some more advanced replay making techniques. But this has been Replay Making 101, and I hope it's been helpful. I've been Jack Morris from Man on Fire Films. If you enjoyed this, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. I shall see you next time, guys. Goodbye.